everyone. My name is Natalia Mejia, and I am going to be presenting the India-Pakistan conflict. So, the area we're going to be focusing on is the Indian Subcontinent here in the southern part of Asia. This part, during the 18th century, was governed by different groups, different ethnic groups, and then, when the British Empire came in, they colonized it, but they didn't make this region a typical colony, but instead they let the leaders that were in place stay in place, but now they were sort of under their orders. So they didn't have a direct rule over this region, but instead they just had a very great influence over these different sub-regions. Then in 1947, the region, led of course by the very famous Mahatma Gandhi, claimed its independence from the British Empire, and they decided to divide this region into two main countries based on their differences in religion. They decided to form the Republic of Pakistan, and they decided to form India. The Pakistanis were Muslim, and the Indians were majority Hindu. In this northern part, there's a region that is still claimed by both countries. They weren't able to decide which side it would go to, so still, to this day, this area is being claimed by both countries and has been the main issue, the main reason for various conflicts that have gone on throughout all these years. So, let's just look at some general facts about both countries first. You can see that the capital of India is New Delhi, the capital of Pakistan is Islamabad. You can see, of course, that the main religion in India is Hindu, as I told you, and the main religion in Pakistan is Islam. And you can see that, well, India has a great population. It's even larger than that of Pakistan, which is by itself really great. And you can see that India's GDP, or purchasing power parity, is about 5 times as large as Pakistan's GDP. So let's just make general chronology of the conflict since the independence of these two countries. So as I told you, on August 15th of 1947, both countries claimed independence from the British Empire. The first week after claiming their independence, they both went to war. Because of this region that I told you about, this region is called Kashmir and Jammu. This region was governed by a Maharaja, as he was called, and both countries told him that he had to decide which country he wanted to be sort of assigned to. And when they claimed the independence and everything, the Maharaja still hadn't decided which country he wanted to align himself with. And so social disputes began, a lot of people were killed in communal violence and everything. And when this violence broke out, the Maharaja decided to tell the Indian government, well, if you help us to get rid of all this violence, then we'll join you, become part of India. But of course, well, Pakistan did not accept this. And, well, they finally ended this first war between India and Pakistan with a ceasefire line that was agreed to, but the areas of Kashmir and Jammu were still undecided. In 1965, there was a second war that erupted between India and Pakistan because Pakistan launched an offensive operation across the ceasefire line that had been agreed to several years before. And so, of course, India retaliated. And, but this conflict only lasted a couple of weeks because the UN intervened and helped them reach another ceasefire. In 1971, there was a third war, which resulted in the creation of the Republic of Bangladesh. As you can see, when they first claimed their independence, Pakistan was divided into Western Pakistan and Eastern Pakistan, which was this region over here. You can click again. But the people in this region were starting to flee the government violence, and they started to run towards India. India, of course, wanted to help them and did want to prevent all this immigration to their own country. And so they went inside of Eastern Pakistan and started another war with the government of Pakistan. All this resulted when Pakistan finally acknowledged the existence of the Republic of Bangladesh, and the conflict ended. And then in 1974, well, it's important to point out that at this time the Cold War is going on, and so, well, there are two main focuses of power in the world. There is the communist bloc, led by the Soviet Union, and there's the capitalist bloc, led by the United States. And India, being a very great nation with a very, very powerful economic system, wanted to be a sort of third bloc, an independent bloc. And so it decided that if the other two blocs had, or showed the world their own power by creating nuclear weapons, that it would create nuclear weapons as well. And so in 1974, India detonated its first nuclear device. In 1989, there was armed resistance to Indian rule in Kashmir. India accused Pakistan of supporting these resistance, these insurgents in the areas of Kashmir, and, well, retaliated, of course, and this resulted in yet more tensions between both countries. In 1992, Pakistan declared the capability to produce a nuclear bomb as a sort of retaliation against India's own nuclear arms program. In 1996, both countries set low-level meetings to diffuse tensions. Of course, it's very tensioning when both countries have such a difficult relationship and they both have the capability to produce nuclear weapons. And so both prime ministers met and decided to do everything within their power to resolve problems peacefully and through negotiations. But then in 1998, both countries conducted nuclear tests once again. And the international community condemned these actions and imposed sanctions, mainly the US and the European Union. They imposed economic sanctions and, well, mainly they just condemned the actions, saying that they were unacceptable. Then in 1999, both prime ministers met again in February. And in May, India launched an attack against the militants that operated in the areas of Kashmir and Jammu. Then in November, General Pervez Musharraf led a military coup in Pakistan and came to power.